How rich is Ilia Topuria? It's a question that keeps getting asked for one simple reason. His lifestyle doesn't look like a rising UFC fighter. It looks like someone who just sold a billion-dollar tech startup. Private flights, designer suits, expensive watches, and a multi-million euro private gym in Marbella. And he was doing all this before he ever became champion. Most fighters rise slowly. They struggle through small promotions, grind for five-figure paydays, and hope the spotlight eventually finds them. But Ilia Topuria came in hot, fluent in style, and surrounded by extreme luxury, which had quite some people questioning how rich he actually is. So today, we're doing a deep dive. We're tracing every possible income stream, estimating every visible asset, and using research, fighter data, and financial logic to estimate how rich Ilia Topuria actually is. And let me tell you, what we found was quite odd, to say the least. Let's start with what we can verify. The money he has officially earned inside the UFC. Ilia's UFC debut happened in late 2020. At that point, the average starting salary for a new UFC fighter was around $10,000 to show and $10,000 more to win. That figure increases with wins, bonuses, and popularity. We've gathered estimated payouts from publicly available sources and commission reports, and here's the breakdown. In his debut fight, he likely earned around $24,000, including win money. In his second fight, that amount doubled to $48,000. His third and fourth fights likely brought in between $50,000 and $70,000. After those, things started to ramp up. His fight against Bryce Mitchell was heavily promoted and likely netted him $150,000. His main event against Josh Emmett may have earned him up to $250,000, factoring in bonuses and his improved contract terms. From that moment on, he has probably made between $500,000 and $1 million per match, depending on pay-per-view cuts and bonuses. For this estimate, we'll use $700,000. Add it all together, and Ilia Topuria's total UFC income is somewhere between $1.6 and $2.2 million gross. That sounds impressive, but gross income is only half the story. Fighters typically lose about 15 to 20% to managers, coaches, and agents. Another chunk goes to taxes, camp costs, and more. After deductions, it's likely that Ilia has earned somewhere between $800,000 and $1 million net from his UFC fights. Now pause, because this is where things stop making sense. We've tracked Ilia's expenses, and these were over $5 million over the past year, meaning a $3 million difference with his UFC income. Ilia owns a private luxury MMA gym in Marbella, costing around $2.5 million. On top of that, Ilia drives a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, worth over $200,000. He wears high-end watches from brands like Audemars Piguet and Richard Mille, which retail between $50,000 and $100,000 each. His wardrobe is fully customized or tailored. He travels by private jet or yacht multiple times per year, and his apartment in Marbella appears to be a modern ocean view rooftop space with an estimated price tag over 1 million euros. The visible lifestyle alone, just the parts shown in public, easily adds up to over $5 million in value. That raises the big question. How do you finance a $5 million lifestyle on a UFC career that, even in a generous estimate, brought in $2 million gross? Well, there are quite some rumors regarding Ilia and cartel links, but we get into that later. First, let's get into things we can verify. His sponsors. First, Monster Energy. Monster pays UFC athletes between $25,000 and $50,000 per year. With Ilia's rising profile and championship momentum, he's likely earning around $35,000 per year. Second, RDX Sports. RDX likely pays Ilia between $20,000 and $30,000 per year. Third, Gym King. Ilia's annual earnings from modeling and media work here are between $60,000 and $100,000. Fourth, Hawker's Sunglasses. Based on similar athlete collabs, Ilia likely earns $25,000 per year. Fifth, One, off campaigns and promotional appearances. Short-term collabs, training apparel launches, or promotional media projects may bring in an additional $20,000 to $50,000 per year. Total sponsor income over 4 years, between $600,000 and $1 million gross. Add in Ilia's UFC earnings, and we get a total earning of around $2 to $2.5 million. Now, compare that to what he owns and shows. His Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, $250,000. His luxury watches, over $200,000. His wardrobe, over $50,000, and probably even over $100,000. His ocean view apartment in Marbella, over $1 million. He flies private multiple times per year, One international round trip by private jet can easily cost between $40,000 and $70,000 depending on distance and aircraft. And then, last but not least, his private gym. This is not a revenue-generating fitness business. No, it's just for Ilia alone. It is a $2.4 million private gym built for himself and his inner circle. Add everything together and you're already looking at over $4 million in visible assets, and that's the conservative version. That's without counting recovery costs, team salaries, private chefs, or anything behind the scenes. And remember, this is just the lifestyle that we see. What about the things we don't see? They will not be free either. If we compare this $4 million in expenses to his total income over the past 4 years, which is under $2 million, we have a gap of $2 million. So how could this gap be there? Where does Ilia get this other $2 million from? We'll get into that later in this video because there are some suspicious rumors about Ilia. First, let's look into other fighters and their first 4 years of UFC fighting earnings to verify if the income of Ilia we stated is actually correct. Sean O'Malley made under $600,000 in his first 4 UFC years. Islam Makhachev made around $400,000 in his first 4 UFC years. Paddy Pimblett earned a little more with a little under $700,000 in his first 4 UFC years. Ilia Topuria, in the same time frame, has earned around $600,000 to $800,000 after taxes. So if Ilia made what Islam and O'Malley made in their first 4 years and lived like they did, nobody would have any questions. But Ilia's lifestyle is drastically ahead, with spending over $4 million in 4 years. The numbers don't align, and this is why a lot of people, like Daniel Cormier, started questioning where all this money came from. In February 2024, Daniel Cormier sat across from Ilia Topuria and asked a question that caught fans off guard: how are you so rich?
Bro, like, you have a your family has money. Your family is rich, right? Like, because you built a $2 million gym in your house.
Ilia didn't flinch. He smiled and said, hard work. We thought this was a vague answer, so we decided to look deeper. And what we found might just be the most underexplained fortune in UFC history. There are literally no records of Ilia Topuria owning a company, no gym registration, no holding entity, nothing listed in the official Spanish commercial registry. So how does a fighter with $2 to $3 million in earnings own over $4 million in lifestyle assets? There are only a few explanations. The first is a silent investor, someone with money investing in Ilia as a long-term brand asset, possibly a businessman or a political figure with power, someone who stays behind the curtain. The second theory is cartel money. There are quite some rumors that Ilia has lines with cartels either in Georgia or Spain, but nothing of this is confirmed. The third theory is simple. In 2018, Ilia married a woman from Miami. Many people claim she comes from serious money. No proof. But when your lifestyle jumps and your circle changes, people notice. There is no proof, but there's also no denial. And in the absence of clear answers, what's being spoken about becomes the truth. So how rich is Ilia Topuria, actually? His verified net worth is likely between $3 and $4 million. His lifestyle spending is closer to 6 or 7. So the financial gap between what he's earned and what he owns, somewhere around $3 to $4 million, unexplained, unaccounted for, and unaddressed. But maybe that's the point. Ilia Topuria has done what almost no fighter in UFC history has done. He didn't wait until the belt to look rich. He looked rich from the start. So maybe Daniel Cormier was asking the right question after all. How is he so rich? And maybe the most honest answer is, we're not supposed to know. Did you like this video and would like to see more of this content? Subscribe to our channel. And if you want to know what UFC fighter has confirmed connections with cartels, then look at this video. Hint, hint, he is Irish and runs his mouth a lot.